All right. It looks like our materials have recovered and we can actually move on with progression today, right? Okay, so there's at least a good reason why we're completely out of steel. It's because I got the assembler completely passively automated, including all possible ingredients. And this was quite a bit of work and a whole lot of materials. It involved 18 machines in this whole chain. Because it's not just the ones you see up front. Because if you remember how I set this up, there's another row of them back here. And then I added a couple more along the sides here. We had to add some surprises too, as well as soldering alloy and some synthetic rubber, as well as setting up a polarizer and an electric mixer to get continued on through here. Because boy, there were some surprises when it came to automating the assembler, like this tin cable was actually a shock that I wasn't expecting. Because the easiest way to handle this is to take normal tin wire and passing this synthetic rubber in liquid form up here instead of having to craft it the hard way. The other way to do this involves a whole lot more rubber from the rubber sheets and using a packer instead. So I figured we should at least just do it the cheap way, right? But there are also some really basic things like the gears have an abnormal recipe for the assembler as well because they're actually cheaper to make. They don't require the short rods, but they do require soldering alloy, which is the liquid I just showed you, which is made in a blast furnace with using the soldering alloy dust, which comes from that electric mixer behind me using lead and tin dust. And let's be clear, I only used the electric mixer because I got it for free as a reward, and I'm just out of room for my steam machines right now without having to lay some other stuff out. But if we flip back over here, you can see that I set up another blast furnace, which is where the soldering alloy is coming out of. And since we got this gargantuan task out of the way, well, hello everybody, I'm Martin. Welcome to another episode of Static Industry. And what are we going to do today instead? Well, I think we're going to go a little off script because I didn't just do the assemblers. I actually cleared up a lot of the first 2 chapters and got most of the quests out of the way. I did leave a couple gaps here where I needed steel and didn't have steel in a lot of cases. But I also didn't handle this XP storage area, and I think we are way past overdue to be making a mob farm because I could really use some gunpowder and I could definitely use a source of experience. But I guess first things first, and we should probably get all the loot, which is why I'm standing right here so I have an easy spot to drop stuff off, because this is going to overflow my inventory and we have all sorts of stuff. Let's see if we got anything useful. The bulk of it was a whole bunch of artifacts that we did not have, including the everlasting beef, which once we cook it turns into infernal steak and it's basically infinite food. So we don't have food problems ever again once we cook this. And whoops, I included something that was not an artifact and belongs up in the food column, including this yummy concrete bar. But I also included the drills that I hadn't made, of which the zinc drill turns out is shockingly hard to automate, which is why I haven't gotten around to doing this, because it requires electron tubes. And then the heartbound chest from Spectrum, which we hadn't made before, as well as a couple other random pieces of equipment, and a bucket of lubricant, because Statech knows how to party, man. Now, I should note that I did try to create a very rudimentary mob farm from the spawners back here. Like if you look here, this is a pretty standard one where there are slabs here. But if we turn the light levels on, you can see that these are all yellow instead of red. It looks like at some point, probably during the lighting update, this type of farm no longer works. So I can't actually create a very easy one this way. So instead, as mentioned in the utilities chapter, we're going to go try to get some cursed droplets from the Nether, from wither skeletons, which is basically the same as the old extra utils cursed earth, I believe. So you should spread it on dirt and it should start spawning mobs just all the time. The other thing I intend to use are these conveyor belts, which act basically as vector plates, I believe. There are multiple types just like the vector plates, and they're made from the conveyors that I now have automated. So these are kind of expensive, but they're not horrifying. And then other than that, we're going to try to use this XP storage solution up here to try to get XP out. I'm not sure how any of that actually works. And then we're going to be using diamond spikes to kill the mob. This is all theoretical at this point. Now it's about time to go to the Nether, but we're going to be bringing the razor falchion with us because I need something with looting 3 to upgrade drop rate, because my normal sword doesn't have it and I don't have the XP to put it on there right now. And then the last thing I'm bringing into the Nether with me is something else I made when I was finishing up all the other chapters. And that's the Explorer's Compass, which if we right click it can let you find something, as long as you know the name of what you're looking for. Hopefully these are the Nether fortresses, and unfortunately I don't know which of these to look for because now there's multiples of them. Let's just try the first one. And it doesn't find one. It found one of Jung's about 1,000 away. We look at the compass, it'll tell you which general direction, so we gotta go that way and hope we can find it, and I really hope there's not a ton of lava between me and it, because that would be annoying. I did bring a glider that I also made, but I don't like hanging out above lava. Well, I've still got a couple hundred blocks to go I still can't see, and I hate the Nether, but this seems to be mostly mob-free so far, which is actually a little disturbing. I'm usually used to at least seeing something in here trying to kill me. other than a whole lot of lava. But the glider is coming in handy for getting me over some of these larger patches. And of course, there's a bastion right there, and not the fortress I'm after, which is still close to 500 away in that direction. So I want to go take a look. Oh, I don't have anything gold on. That could be bad news, but I should at least check out that chest if I can safely get over there. You know what? I remember these things have crossbows, and I don't want to mess with the piglins right now because I don't have any gold on. So let's not even go over there. And now we have a second bastion that I'm afraid to go near. Oh, that brute has a lot of health. Yep, this is much too dangerous. I don't want to be messing with any of this in case I die. Well, I seem to have found the bottom of another fortress, and wait, no, this might just be huge in the Ying's version. Jeez. Well, I guess when in doubt, just breaking through a wall, and we found a stairwell that goes up or down, and I guess let's see what's here. And you know what? Maybe before I die, I should put a waystone down, huh? This thing is humongous, but I haven't seen any mobs so far. Well, I found a couple of normal chests, just like this normal barrel, but these are my first loot chests here. And this is not that interesting. Alright, I lied. There is some somewhat interesting stuff in one of the barrels here, at least. Well, this naturally spawning blaze is the first monster I've seen in here. Got a blaze rod out of it, though. Well, this is certainly an interesting room. It has a create crank. Looks like this might be the main door or something. I have no idea how these fortresses work. This is kind of interesting. Still haven't seen a single wither skeleton yet, though. Oh yeah, I did find a blaze spawner, though, and you know what we do with spawners, right? You know what I forgot to bring with me? My create wrench, so I can't actually pick this up. So I guess we're going to come back to this later, huh? There we go. Finally found one wandering around. Of course, it was still only the one. But at least that means I can find them here for sure now. Oh wow, this Razor Falchion only has 16 durability. I think I noticed that in the Lucky Pickaxe, and I'm not entirely sure what this is for other than maybe someone getting looting off of it and onto something else. Aw yeah, and there we go, finally got the cursed droplets. Oh, I am sometimes not smart. You need 4 of these to make the cursed seeds. Oops. Alright, so it turns out this is this tower area around the main gate, which is where I moved the waystone to because it made a better spot anyways, and there's just tons of wither skeletons spawning here. So this is pretty ideal. Alright, so I spent a while sitting there murdering them, got 6 of them, and a single wither skeleton skull. I really need to enchant this sword if I'm going to keep using it. I did find out that these runic tablets, which I found a couple of in chests, can be used to repair it, thankfully, so I no longer have to worry about this just instantly up and dying on me, but it sure would be nice to have mending. In one of the barrels, I found this helmet, though, which, not amazing, but mending all by itself kind of pays for itself, and this shuts off the piglins, so I'm going to call that a win for now. Now let's see if we can get fortune on this without it bankrupting me. And by fortune, I mean looting 3, and by bankrupt, I mean it only took me 4 tries. So here's hoping I get some other decent enchants. Well, unbreaking's not bad. That'll actually solve some of the issues with needing to repair it as often. Would it have really been too much to ask for sharpness on this also, though? And with this, we at least have the hard part of this done. Alright, so I've got a basic kill box set up here on the far end of my base on the first floor here. A bunch of tinted glass letting us see what's inside. I do have night vision goggles now that I can actually see in there even if it's dark, but I do have a lever back here where I've got a door linked up to these redstone lights on top so I have the ability to turn it off. That said, even with it off, you can see that because of the door, there is still some light leaking into here. I could fix that with a piston door, but I'll probably just rip the door out and put blocks on once I've got this finished up. But we're waiting on some more conveyors to make more of the conveyor belts with. Now, I just have hoppers going into a single shared barrel right now, because while there is an ender hopper from Spectrum here, whatever this is, I don't have it yet. So I can't make this. And the Kibe mod has what would normally be a relatively easy to make vacuum hopper, which is actually perfect for this, except it requires an Eye of Ender. And unfortunately, the Eye of Ender recipe has changed, and the only way to actually make it is with a chemical reactor. And, well, we're a little bit off the chemical reactor yet because we can't make the electronic circuit, which is the same thing that's stopping us from making the destruction gadget. So we're doing this with the old ways. Now, I do have diamond spikes set up here in 2 rows of them in case I get spiders, which is also why this is too wide. I'm not too worried about them climbing the walls in the event that they pop up because the conveyor belts should shuttle them over here fast enough to kill them against the spikes. Now, this is all theoretical because I don't have any of this working yet. I still need to add all the other conveyor belts in. I still need to drop the cursed seed on the ground to start spawning stuff, but I'm not quite ready for that yet because we still need to delve into the XP Obelisk mod and at least get up to the XP storage step so that we have a way to get the XP orbs. And this starts by making Soul Copper Blend, which given that this is back in the first chapter, you'll be shocked to know that this is absurdly easy to do. It's just soul sand and raw copper in a mixer. And easily finished. And the next step is to, well, smelt that into soul copper ingots. Except I was given some as a reward a while back, so that step is also done. Which then we need to make the XP transfer, which is used to put XP in and out of it from yourself. And this is just soul copper ingots, soul copper nuggets, and XP dust. And this XP dust I haven't made on camera, but it's made by smoking an enchanted book. But I have used this because it's used to make the XP storage handbook, which I've got to be clear is not actually all that useful. It doesn't really have all that much more information than JEI does. Although it did confirm it does have a vacuum mode to get in orbs by using a redstone torch on it. So it was useful for that at least. Because I'm not going to lie, I was kind of worried about not having a means to get the XP without the vacuum hopper from Kibe. Kibe? I don't know how you pronounce that one. Goodbye, Junk Power 1 book I hopefully don't need. And now that's done also. And I should probably get the rewards because it looks like it gives me another one, as well as another artifact that I hadn't gotten yet. That's actually really nice. Guess I don't need the villager's hat after all. And now I look properly ridiculous. All right, and now we have the XP storage. Now, the problem is, from watching another person's video to make sure I knew how all of this stuff worked, I know that this requires access to the room to work, so I'm hoping putting this in the wall over here won't actually allow light in, and I'm not confident of that fact, but we'll find out in a second. Well, I walled off the door, and unfortunately the room is still massively lit up, so this looks like it's kind of a problem, so I'm gonna have to figure something out here. You know what, while I'm waiting for my conveyor belts and to get this sorted out, I might as well drop the cursed seed on here and let it start spreading. It doesn't seem to want to take though. Oh, it's probably because the lights are on. So here's to hoping the lights being turned on don't blow this up. Okay, it looks like we're okay. So this should stop the mob spawns and it should allow it to spread though. All right, and I realized I was being foolish about something because while these regular conveyors make 8 at a time and they seem expensive, and I figured these ones would be worse, they actually convert one of these conveyors into 8 of the next tier at the cost of only 2 of the conveyor components. And the same for the top tier one. So I overmade on conveyor belts and I'm converting to all the blue ones right now. I have also basically given up on the light levels and I just shoved the storage right above the barrel and called it good for now, I guess. I'll just have to deal with there being some light on there and have lower rates because I probably won't need full rates anyways. But I'm still disappointed. If anybody has any ideas on how to fix this, my ears are completely wide open because I can't figure it out. It's almost like that XP storage itself is emitting light. I've completely boxed it in with blocks and I'm still getting increased light levels in there. Another thing to be aware is that this cursed dirt spreads way slower than cursed earth from like extra utils 2 in the past. So be aware that this will take a while to fill in. There's already a bunch under the conveyor belts. It does spread under them just fine. And there's no real issues with that. It just takes a while. Also, you might be wondering why I went 4 tall on these. And that's because I noticed in another person's video that Endermen have issues with the conveyor belts. They're just raised up just high enough off the ground that they get stuck in the ceiling if you only go 3 tall on them. They're not like the vector plates from dark utils. You do need some clearance space above them. They're about the size of trapdoors. So mistakes were made. You can't jump backwards on these things. And those spikes are deadly. That was not one of the smarter things that I've done. I just lost all the levels I had banked previously. Thankfully, we've got an almost functional mob farm now. But there we go. Now we have a fully functioning mob farm. And to be clear, basically the main things I want out of this are XP, because I need it for enchanting, and, well, some gunpowder, because I could absolutely use this moving forward. Interesting that I'm getting cursed droplets, though. I wonder what that's coming from. Wow, this actually appears to be going at a decent rate, even though it's not even close to full capacity yet on the cursed dirt. I may actually need to wire this up to my drawer network sooner than I'd intended. Oh well, that's a problem for another week's ARD, because this took a whole lot of effort on my part and more hours than I want to admit to trying to deal with that Nether fortress. Anyhow, if you found this episode interesting or entertaining, please leave me a like or subscribe if you're new. As always, I'm ARD. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.